going on, everyone? This is Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics, and in today's live stream, we're going to be talking about the new Superman trailer that dropped today. We're going to review Absolute Batman issue number 8 and talk about what books I am getting this week for New Comic Book Day. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends, consider joining the channel. You can be entered to win all of these amazing comic books from the 616comics.com simply by clicking the join button below, supporting me and supporting the channel for just $1.99. You can be entered to win, again, all these comic books from the 616comics.com. All of these channel members are already entered to win. They click the join button below, and we'll be doing a drawing on June 1st. You can join them, again, by clicking the join button below for just $1.99. Also, you guys ever need any books pressed? Let me see if I can find it here. I don't know if it's going to work. Let me look. Nope. Consider Eric at comicbook_pressing on Instagram. So let's get right into this Superman trailer that dropped today. I want to talk about that first. I'm super excited. I joked with my friends that I wasn't going to watch it when clearly I was. Obviously, I'm a big DC fan. If you couldn't tell from any of the videos, big DC fan. Almost every comic that I pull is a DC comic. I think it's because when I was a kid, the Justice League Super Friends show came on late at nighttime, and yeah, I used to love watching that show. So let's go ahead and pull up the trailer. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to like skip through and talk about it a little bit here. Let's see here. Let me see if I can share screen. Here we go. All righty. So we first get to see Lois Lane interview Clark Kent as Superman. So we know that in this movie, she knows that he is Superman. So we already knew it was not going to be an origin story. We already knew that. They talk about how he averted a war, but he did not, get the permission of the president, and how like a lot of Americans had kind of turned their back on Superman. He was under a lot of fire. No pun intended. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, so Lois Lane is interviewing him. He starts getting upset. We get to see, what is this? What is the girl name? What is her name? It's like the Machine or something like that. She can control machines. What up, Magic Colosso? How's it going, man? I'm going to do a video sometime on my thoughts on Absolute Universe. Wonder Woman would not be in my top 3, which is wild to say, right? Because I've heard great things. I've been reading that. I'm still pulling it, but it's right outside that top 3. So what up, Scott? How's it going, man? I need to do more live streams, more content. I don't know. I mean, outside of hanging out with my family and going to K-State football and basketball games, I don't know if there's anything that I love doing more than creating content for YouTube and hanging out with people and talking about comic books and TV shows and movies and creating videos and live streams. I don't know if there's anything that I like doing more. So I really need to get back into doing more. And that's why I'm doing this live stream today. Okay, let's get back to this Superman trailer. I forgot this. The engineer. That's her name. The engineer. Yeah, she's pretty cool in this trailer. We get to see Superman get his butt kicked by Ultraman. They show, the kaiju monster again multiple times in this. Him saving a girl that's been played 1,000 times. Him getting upset with the questions from the amazing reporter from the Daily Planet, Lois Lane, saying he's representing himself. Now, here we get to see Superman get his butt kicked, and people do come to his aid to help him. Which, by the way, people talk about the wrinkles in his suit. I mean, I know CGI helps, but man, this suit looks fantastic. He looks great in this trailer. There's some really, really, really cool shots of him going up in the air and being above smoke and clouds. I mean, James Gunn so far has done everything right that I wanted to see. The engineer again, they go to the Fortress of Solitude, which we already knew that, right? Like we already saw clips of Lex Luthor and his bad guys getting off in what appears to be a pretty cold area. We already knew that the Fortress of Solitude was going to be in the movie. We knew that a robot dies, so this is not anything, new, but we do get to see, kind of what happens. We see the engineer, killing or dismembering or, ending all of these robots. And then we see Crypto coming in as well. Superman busting out of this containment center, which later in the trailer, it shows Metamorpho in there as well. And it looks like he has. Shout out to Mark from Legion of Comics for noticing that Metamorpho appears to be holding some kryptonite. Or his hand turns to kryptonite. Okay, we see Clark Kent's dad talking to him. It does look very Kansas-like. I do think they did it right, though I think that the house from Man of Steel looked more like the houses that you would see on a farm in Kansas. He said they modeled it after, some farms in Missouri, which is where James Gunn is from. But still, it looks very, very Midwest, Plains, Kansas-like. The father looks good. This is the first time where Mom and Pa Kent actually look old, like older. I love the joke that they gave where the mom's like, do you want me to clean your boots? I got them ready for you, son. I don't know what's going on here. Some people are hurt. Here's Mom and Pa Kent coming to his aid. I'm assuming this is right after, like we saw the scene from the Comic-Con where his dog kind of beats him up a little bit on accident and then takes him to go get some sunlight at the Fortress of Solitude. I imagine it's right around this time in the actual movie. Here, right in the back, there appears to be some kryptonite. We see Superman get his butt kicked from some of Lex Luthor's minions in those suits that look very much like the suit that Lex Luthor would wear. This is a really cool shot. Let me go back. That's a really cool shot. I'm going to play this a little bit. We get to see right back there. That was the kryptonite. Him getting his butt kicked. Superman coming up from above. That is an awesome shot. That is an awesome shot, dude. I know it's CGI. I get that. Man, it looks cool. It looks really, 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 really cool. Lex Luthor talking in the Fortress of Solitude. This is the shot. This is the shot. I'm going to try to pause it at the right time here. Man, it looks really cool. Right there. That is the shot. Green Lantern, Hot Girl, and Mr. Terrific. That looks awesome. Now, the whole set photos with them, everyone was like complaining about, including me. But man, I'll tell you what, in the trailer, looks good, man. It looks good, dude. And we get some shots of old Green Lantern kicking some butt as well. Superman getting his butt kicked by Ultraman. This is a scene I talked about earlier with Ma Kent telling him that she was going to get his boots ready. Here's a kaiju. I honestly think the kaiju is Metamorpho, but I could be wrong. We've seen this iconic shot 1,000 times of him kissing Lois Lane in the station, like the Union Station train station type thing. Maybe it's called Central Station. I think we missed something here. Oh, this was cool. Okay, I'm going to play this really quick. This Green Lantern spot with the hand, boom. That is freaking awesome. I imagine this is at the beginning of the movie because they talked about how Superman was going to stop a war and how no one liked it. Those appear to be a bunch of soldiers. I imagine that this Justice Gang or Justice League International, whoever they are, shows up as well. And that's why you see some of those people in the background. But man, that looks cool. That looks really, 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 really cool. I'm excited for it. Here's a shot of Lex Luthor drinking some coffee right in front of Superman. Nicholas Hoult. I'm excited about his Lex Luthor. He has a look. He's a great actor. Yeah, I'm excited. Superman on fire again. Maybe this is him in the sun getting, some exposure there to come back and get stronger. I don't know. Who knows? And then, of course, we get that ending shot with Crypto on his chest. Man, I'll tell you what. That's exciting. Superman is going to be crazy. I agree. I don't know how many times I'm going to see it. I'm going to set the over-under at 2.5. I'm going to see it at least once, most likely twice, but is it going to be just 2 times or is it going to be 3? We will see. We will see. A girl I know once had me take her photo in front of the Waffle House, but I framed the pic so she was standing above a sign that said Waffle Ho. Wow. Nice. 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 But yeah, I'm excited about the Superman movie. I think everyone is. I think it had like 7 million views at this point. And the other trailer has like 50, 60, 70 million views as well. Man, I'll tell you what. Also, shout out to Marvel for trying to, undercut Superman by releasing their Ironheart trailer today, which looked terrible to me. I mean, I'm not a Marvel as big of a Marvel fan, obviously, but man, what are they doing, man? That's some foul play. That's foul play by releasing it the same day, man. What is going on? What is going on with that, dude? But man, the Superman trailer looks pretty good. Okay, let's get into our next segment. Absolute Batman number 8 came out today. Shout out to Scott Snyder for hooking me up with another copy, an advanced copy of issue number 8. Let's go. So this is the second book in the storyline. Issue number 7 started with him, learning about Mr. Zero, Mr. Freeze. Turns out it's a son in this apps universe. He gets captured, as you're seeing here. He's getting dragged. He gets dragged for the most part. Is that good or bad? Absolute Batman is flames. I think it's pretty good. I'm still not the biggest fan of the art. I feel like they spent a lot of money on their writers for this like absolute universe. Like you got Al Ewing, you got Scott Snyder, you got Jason Aaron, right? Like 3 pretty big writers in there and a couple other ones as well. But the art, I feel like really, really, really lacks. I never thought the art looked amazing in Absolute Batman. It's growing on me, but man, the art for Absolute Wonder Woman is trash. I do not like the art for Absolute Green Lantern. Looks very anime to me. The Flash art is okay. The art in Absolute Superman is amazing. I hate the art in Absolute Martian Manhunter. But man, it feels like they could have spent a little bit more money on the artist, in my opinion. But, whatever. We have a different artist this time. I did not notice that. Marcos Martin. So not Nick Dragotta, but still like very, very, very similar vibes. What's up, Kenneth Bird? How's it going, man? Absolute Zero. So you see Mr. Freeze here, the son, which is Mr. Freeze in this universe, taking Bruce Wayne Batman back to his little lab area. They're going to try to freeze him. Man, he is huge. He is absolutely huge. Like his legs almost look smaller than his arms. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. All the while you see Mr. Freeze talking about, after a certain amount of years, I think it was 30 years, that you almost start to enjoy the pain of being frozen, which I don't know how he would know. Maybe he was frozen too. Obviously, there's something wrong with this guy. Like we learned a lot about him in the last issue, but we learned more in this issue. But all the while, like you see Batman talking to his friends from Crime Alley, Edward Nigma, Killer Croc, and the others as well. You actually see him get his butt kicked, which is interesting. Like I understand, like Superman, Batman, like they need to be challenged, right? Like I totally get that. But for him to get challenged by his friends and basically get his butt kicked, doesn't make sense to me. He's Batman. Like that should not be happening. But neither here nor there. Did not like this page. But again, the bubbles remind me a lot of Batman Year One. Yep, here it is. He gets his butt kicked by his friend here. I don't like it. This art is okay here. You see them talking about matches and how matches. He's one of the other people from Crime Alley that died. Feeling bad his entire life about how he was the last one that Bruce Wayne's dad went to try to go save before he was killed, and how he blames himself for his dad, or Bruce Wayne's dad, dying. You see here Bruce Wayne, Batman. Sorry, my printer decides right when I'm doing a live stream to do its cleaning. That's frustrating. You see his little thing in his arm, and I think that's been there since he broke his arm in the first 6 issues against Black Mask. He uses he opens it up and he shoots one of his batarangs to help him. My gosh, that is frustrating. To help him break out of this whole containment. Yeah, that dude pisses me off, dude. Of course. Meanwhile, he thinks he's won. He goes back and he's like, ha 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 ha. Let's take a look at. Oh, what's happening? Something's happening. And then what happens next? Here is Batman. Knock knock. Boom. That is a pretty sick page. I'm not the biggest fan of the artist in this book, but he got this page right. He got this page right. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Batman beats the crap out of this guy, obviously. Though he talks about how he's a lot slower because he just got out of the whole like being frozen, basically. Water covering almost his entire body. And how the other guy's faster because obviously he hasn't been in one of those containment centers. But Batman still does a trick. He still beats the crap out of him. It looks it reminded me a lot of, and I told Scott Snyder this, this issue reminded me a lot of his New 52 run with the Court of Owls, where Batman goes in to try to like figure out, the Court of Owls, and he gets his butt kicked by all of the Talons. But then they stick the Talons on him. In this issue, obviously it's down there, but in the Court of Owls, all the Talons came down and, try to kill him in his own house. So you see the entire gang of all these frozen people trying to kill Batman. He has to retreat ultimately because he decides to live instead. Because this whole time he's being asked, do you want to live or do you want to die? His friends are asking that. They're saying, we're going to help you only if this is not a suicide mission. And he's like, you know what? I do want to live. And because of that, he ultimately flees. And this is the end of the 2-issue arc. Obviously, it's setting up for future storylines involving Mr. Freeze. I did not love the ending to this story. I thought overall it was a pretty good issue. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10 when I told Scott. That was literally right after I got done reading it. Now I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. I give the writing 8.5 out of 10. Art much lower. Overall, the writing is the most important part, right? It has to be the most important part. So I'm still going to give this an 8 out of 10. I could see why other people might give it a lower score, but for me, it's an 8 out of 10. But yeah, next issue, Absolute Bane. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that because Bane is one of my favorites in the DC universe. One of my favorite villains for sure. So 8 out of 10. Moving on. Last segment here. We're going to talk about new comic book day today. I did send my list to Paul Rogers from ABX. I kind of forgot what I got. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the list for today. We'll talk about what books I got. Obviously, got Absolute Batman number 8. I got cover A for all of them. Yeah, we just got done reviewing it. I'm excited to get it. I have decided to stop pulling Action 1086 or Action Comics in general. They keep changing writers, and I don't know, man. I don't need to keep pulling it. I don't pull any Marvel right now. That doesn't mean I wouldn't read Marvel, but I do not pull any Marvel. I've heard some Ultimate books are pretty good right now, but I am not reading any of them. Miles Morales is still popping off from what I hear. I wish I was reading it, but at this point, I don't really want to catch up. More Marvel stuff. I'm not going to read it. Has anyone read Batman Dark Patterns? I hear it's pretty good from the few people that I've heard that are reading it. We got World Tree, Geiger. I am picking up Aquaman number 5. That is the next book that I am picking up this week. Jeremy Adams is writing it. Great dude, great writer. I don't love the art. I feel like I say that about a lot of books, but I really don't love the art that much. I am grabbing Supergirl number 1. I'm pretty excited about that. Who's writing it? No. No, dude. Sophie Campbell. Oh no. They killed the TMNT series, man. In a bad way. In a bad way. Sorry. I just saw you were there. How long have you been sitting there, bro?
Literally a minute. It's not been long.
Okay. All right. We'll start at the top.
Well, funny enough, I do have that book right here, Supergirl.
And what did you think?
I haven't read it, but great cover.
Yeah, got Superman on it. Yeah, show off your haul real quick.
Yeah. So I got a couple things. I realized
What
now
up,
that
dude?
you had the list up, I forgot Aquaman, so I have to go pick that up
Dude,
later.
you've done that 2 weeks in a row.
I always forget stuff. Battle Beast, the blind bag. It was limit one per customer. I wanted to get like four, and rip a bunch for the channel. This is Dark Regards. This Oni press book. The cover just was really dope. It looks like super metal, horror, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to jump into that.
Nice.
This I'll never forget.
Of course. Of course.
So Grayson. You can go ahead. Sorry, my son just ran through. Godzilla versus X-Men.
Okay.
Another copy of Battle Beast, my reader copy. Geiger, number 14. This was a really cool cover.
You and Mark love that, dude. You guys
There's
love
a I have an LCS where I'm pulling this. So like when I go to like Midtown, I'll pick up like the B covers or the C covers if they're really cool. The Energon Universe special. I haven't been caught up on any of the GI Joe or Transformer stuff. I've been kind of like trade waiting it because I like the miniseries of GI Joe. The first issues, like the first issue of the actual series, I didn't really like love, so I'm probably gonna catch up. Like I'll read this and see if I should dive like in. And then Exquisite Corpses, the new James Tynion book with Michael Walsh. This I'm excited about because I did really like Michael Walsh's Frankenstein, and then also Tynion did Dracula. All those Skybound horror books are really cool. And
Nice.
then this, it's Superman trailer day, so I was in the shop. I was like, you know what? This is a really cool cover. I'm gonna get that. So that's my haul. I'll probably go back to the shop to get another blind bag, and obviously Aquaman number 4 or 5. We're on.
Let's see here. Let me pull this back up here. I'm going to add it back in here. Okay. Aquaman, I think it's number 5. Let me look. Aquaman number 5. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I just don't love the art, man. Like, I really like the book. But I mean, even the variants suck, honestly. But the book is good.
You don't like the art? I like John Tim's art. I think it's like
I
really.
don't. I
I
have high
did like his.
standards, man. I got high standards.
Yeah. I mean, like not everyone is Jim Lee, man.
That is true.
uh, John Tim's. I like their run on the Superman. What was it? With John Kent, they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love that book, but the art was great, and I think he's stepping it up with this. There's some like really cool, like when Aquaman does like the blood bending stuff and all that.
Yeah. Well, that
That
was
was
like
really
issue 3
cool.
or 4. That was
Yeah,
cool.
and I like the main covers, and so I like the art. So
Like,
I
I think
completely
the story's
disagree with
cool,
you,
the
but
concept's cool. I don't love the art because I always feel like it's like not zoomed in enough. Maybe it's the paneling I don't like. It's like I don't mind the actual art, but like it just feels like it could be better. And you're right.
yeah,
Not everyone
like
is Jim Lee. You are correct.
yeah, I think also too like if you really like the artist on Jeremy Adams like main Green Lantern book, which I
Yeah,
think
I
is
do.
Monaco or something like that,
Mhm.
like that like book, the art is crazy in it. So
Yeah.
I think if you're sort of like really into that and then you're expecting something like that, I can see why you're disappointed. But I like it.
I mean, the artist every time for Jeremy Adams has been really good until this book. So, and I understand like you're not going to get the best artist every time because you can't pay top dollar for every book. So,
Yeah, not everyone's
I'm going to see what else. I think I did drop. Whoa,
Dark Patterns is really good. I just have to catch up.
yeah. I can't keep pulling a bunch of Batman books. So,
Yeah, you know what I do? I mean, I have the DC Ultra, so like
oh,
stuff
nice.
that's like secondary. It's like, oh yeah, I'm 30 days behind, but I was kind of trade waiting it anyway.
Okay.
It's a good way to kind of like those books that I might drop that I'm still like interested in.
Yep.
That's a way I keep up with them.
Okay. Well, I might do that at some point because I would like to read
Ask
some
for it
more.
for Father's Day.
How much is it?
I think for the year, like 90, 100 or something like that.
That's not bad.
But it
Considering,
pays for itself. Like these are
I mean,
books
you're
like
going to read more than 20 books on there, right?
yeah, and then
Obviously.
like for example, like Absolute Power. I'm not getting all those events. I'm not getting, Absolute Power 7,
Really?
whatever those things are. Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
okay,
got
okay, that's right.
the
Okay,
event,
yeah,
like the
not the
tie-ins and
absolute
stuff like
books,
that.
right?
So it's
Right.
like, hey, it's a cool way to kind of read those things. Or like Dark Patterns. Like I have like Hush 2, I have Absolute Batman. Like I probably have like two more Batman books. So it's like you said, I can't have a $60 Batman subscription every month.
Right.
So it's like, hey, one book kind of has to. But Dan Waters is a really good writer, and then Hayden Sherman, they're the artists on Absolute Wonder Woman too. So
I'm putting in the Burke fam chat that we're live, and I'm live with you.
yeah.
So, I'm gonna look at the rest of these books, and I'm gonna get your thoughts on the two things I already talked about,
Yeah.
because I know you have thoughts, and I know you did a reaction, and I have
Yeah.
not seen it yet. I saw the video, like the thumbnail.
Yeah.
I've not watched it. I did drop Green Lantern Core just because like I didn't feel like it was like that important of a book. But I have number 3 that I need to read. I read 1 and 2, and I just thought it was just okay.
But that's the type of book, for example, where I read the first issue and I'm like, this isn't great. So DC Ultra.
Yep, yep.
I give a book like, hey, one issue. If it's kind of like in that range, like because they're so expensive now. I think that book is like what, $4 or whatever.
$3.99. Yep. Yep.
So it's like, hey, like if my pile is like really high, I'm probably not gonna add that. Or
Right.
if I forget, like which I do, just because at Midtown I don't have a pool. I just go and I'm like, oh,
I want to go to
let's
that
do
shop
that.
so bad.
It's cool because it's like, hey, they have everything on the shelf,
Right.
and like, hey, if I come back, it's gonna be there. So for example, Aquaman 4, I'm gonna be able to go, okay, let me go back tomorrow or the day after and pick that book up.
Yep. I want to go there sometime. I do. I want to go to. I wish there was a comic shop in my town, man. It really sucks living in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. It really does.
Listen, man, you're the mark of death. Every shop that opens and you go to,
5 or
immediately
6 of them,
closes.
man. It's insane, dude. It's
Yeah.
insane, man. Okay, moving on. Like I said, I dropped that for now. I'm going to read issue 3 because I have it on my poll. And if it's good, then I'll pick it back up. But I probably won't, honestly.
Yeah.
As I'm looking for other books that I'm going to be talking about that I'm probably getting, how long of a wait is it after a book comes out that it's on that DC Ultra?
30 days.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I wish it was the same day, but I could see why.
Yeah, but like
I
for
can see
example,
why that would be
Marvel
bad for
Unlimited,
them. I can see why that
it's
would be
like
bad.
4 months, and it's like, for example, I read there was a really good Sabretooth book that was on there, and I read like the first 2 issues. And I was like, this is really good. And I'm like, I can't wait 3 months to read the 3 issues that are already like
Right.
out, At least with like, the 30 days, you're like, all right, maybe in like a couple of weeks or something, depending where the release was, like the final issue will
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
But with Marvel Unlimited, it's like so behind. It's only good to read like older things, but not that they pay me or anything like that. But another thing that's really good about that Ultra tier subscription is that they have collected editions. So like when you're
Oh,
reading a issue, you don't have to go like in Marvel Unlimited where you have to read every single issue. You can download the full trade or the omnibus. And especially for me where I live in New
dude,
York,
I want
I'll
that
be
because
like it's it's helped me for my channel in terms of like my knowledge and like reading things back and stuff like that. Also like doing interviews and stuff. So
so
like
like you
once
can
you
read
have it, you
any
can't get
issue.
rid of it.
You can read any issue that's 30 days old or older. So I could read like Batman like 358 or something.
Yeah, yeah.
No problem.
Sadly I can't I'm using my phone as the camera, so I was gonna pull it up.
Oh,
So
okay. No problem. No problem. No problem.
but yeah, it's 30 days. And sometimes depending if it's like a special issue or something, they'll do it same day. So like I
Wow.
think New Comic Book Day, they had a lot of those books like either the same day or a
You
couple
mean
days
Free Comic
after.
Book Day?
Yeah, and then
Superman
what
Day?
else? I think they had like the Peacemaker book like same day or something. So sometimes they'll do things like same day.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. I am getting TMNT Mutant Nation.
Mm.
I am enjoying it. It's
That was
not amazing, but it's good enough to keep reading. That's a pretty sick cover, though. I'm not gonna lie. It
I
looks like
did like the first issue of Night Watcher, and then like I forgot, like it wasn't on my pool, and then
I
you
hated
know.
the first issue. That's why I stopped picking it up. And I do like the female turtles. I do,
Yeah,
but it was not good. It was not good.
I heard
Uh,
Helverine. I haven't read it though.
okay, hold on. Helverine. Okay, Helverine 6. You said you've not read it, but you've
I
heard
haven't
good
read it, but
things.
I've heard good things.
Okay, okay. Red Hulk 4, Thunderbolts. Blah. Did you go see the movie?
The movie was amazing. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'm not gonna go see it.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna wait until it comes out on Disney Plus.
I mean, Captain America comes out like in 2 weeks on Disney Plus. So
Yeah, I'll probably watch it on there too. Which honestly, like, I'm not a big. Yeah, there's nothing else here. I'm not the biggest like fan of like anything Marvel, so I don't know why I have Disney Plus. I'll be honest, but I
well,
mean, I did watch
like
Daredevil
you got
Born
it for the
Again. I did.
kid. Like I don't really watch anything there because like I've kind of soured on like Star Wars too.
Right,
I don't really watch anything, man. Like all these subscriptions have become like cable. Like sometimes when I sit
uh,
down to watch something, I'm like, what do I watch?
right. Okay, I wanted to get your thoughts. I know you did a video on it.
Mm,
Your thoughts. I can pull it up here. I got it pulled up if you want to. We can go through it again,
yeah.
or you can just give me your overall thoughts on the Superman trailer. In your opinion, is James Gunn doing it right with his trailers? Do you trust
Yeah, I mean,
him
I love the
with the
first
movie?
one. The second one, the vibe is there. I think it's cool to see a Superman that has a personality. That you get to see both Clark and that. I will say, what it is like a big movie. There's a lot of like characters and stuff like that. I
There
was showing,
is.
my family the trailer, and my girlfriend was like, "How long is this movie?" I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "There seems to be a lot going on,"
There is.
and and that's even for her, where she doesn't, know who Mister Terrific is or Guy Gardner
Right.
and all these different. But she sees like, hey, there's a lot of different like plot threads that I'm just seeing in this 3 minute trailer. Like, is this like gonna be like 3 hours long or something like that? So,
Is there a
but he's done.
release time? Like, or yeah, is there a runtime release yet?
I don't think so, just because he's probably still like working on the effects and the final edit and stuff. So we probably won't know until like June or something if what the
Rumored
runtime
to
is. I'd
have,
imagine like 220, 2.5.
yeah, it's rumored to have 220 exactly, according to
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Snyder, the Hollywood Insider.
Mm-hmm.
But that could change. That's just a rumor.
Yeah. But I dug it. It looked really great. Guy looked cooler than some of the previous things they had shown. Especially
You mean some of the set photos? You mean?
not just the set photos, but like even the puppy bowl thing they did and all
Okay.
that, and also like just seeing like the ring. Like
Yeah.
light powers are so hard to do on film, so it looks like they had a lot of time to work on the effects. Like all the effect shots,
Mhm.
Metamorpho, Hawk Girl, like the kaiju and all that look really good. And if you've watched like any of the Marvel movies in the last couple years, all the effects have sucked just because
Right.
they don't really have that much time to work on it. So I'm
Right.
actually excited to watch a movie and be like, oh, it feels like this is happening, this is real. Whereas like Thunderbolts was good because it didn't have much of that. Like it was like the Sentry stuff, yes, but not all of that. So uh, I dug it.
Mostly
I
practical effects.
Yeah, and then I really like Nick Holt as Lex Luthor. He looks like
Yeah.
he hates Superman, which
Yeah.
is what it should be.
Right.
And I'm excited to have a full like DC universe. Like we're both DC fans. Like
Yeah.
it is cool to be able to even if like let's say this flops, at least you're able to watch this movie and be like, hey, I got to see this, I got to see that. Them interact with each other instead of being like, okay, this is the start of the universe. I have to wait for them to introduce this idea and that
Right.
idea and that
Right.
idea, which is like what they have to do in Marvel. It's like, okay, in Marvel they have to figure out how to make vampires work, so they have to do this or that. In this new DCU, everything has existed at some point or another, so there's not anything like weird when people get introduced or anything like that.
What did you think of the Peacemaker trailer?
Funny enough, I actually love Peacemaker season 1, but the
Me too.
Peacemaker season 2 trailer, I was like, I don't know about this. Like the multiverse thing and all that. Like I get
Yeah, I
like
think it looks
maybe
fun. It looks fun.
it looks fun, but I was like, that's not what I need from Peacemaker. If that
Right.
makes sense.
I feel you there.
Yeah. But I love Vigilante, that character. Have you been reading the Vigilante book?
No.
That one's really fun. The first two issues are really good.
Okay, who's writing it?
Tim Seeley is writing the Vigilante portion. Mitch Gerrits, as you know, you're like all about the art. That's top tier artist at DC. He's doing the
Mitch
Vigilante book.
Gerards.
Yeah,
Nice.
did Tom King's Strange Adventures. What else? Um, Mr. Miracle with Tom King.
I love the collective amnesia the world has right now. I'm excited for all that Superman stuff, but damn, I can't help but laugh. Yeah, yeah. I think it looks funny. I think it looks funny. I think it looks good. I love season one, and I of course loved the Suicide Squad. So I think this is going to be good. I'm excited to see, like the alternate universe that they're doing there too. I mean, that's got to be the only reason how, like, why he gets into the DCU, right? I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with them just maybe putting in a throwaway line. It's like
Yeah, I mean,
I
just
don't
making it
think they
all
need like a
canon.
full
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Same.
it's like in Creature Commandos, it's like it's pretty like self-explanatory. Like, hey, like Amanda Waller
Right.
is the Amanda Waller from the DCEU, but this story is set in the DCU, so I didn't really like need an explanation or something. Like, yes, like that scene happened or whatever, but it was like a
Right.
little 2 second like gag or whatever. So I'm excited, but the one thing that made me shaky was Creature Commandos. I was like, I didn't love
I
Creature Commandos.
agree. I
So that
agree.
was like the thing that like where I was like 100% on board. That was the one thing where I was like, oh, I don't know.
Right. Right. Do you want to talk really quick about Absolute Batman #8?
I haven't read it yet. I have my issue right here.
Okay.
I was waiting
Okay.
to get it physically, but going from seven, I loved seven, and I think you touched on it before I jumped into. I think they've been doing a good job with the fill-in artists and making sure that they sort of like match Nick Dragota's vibe.
What up, dude?
Breaking the law.
Not much. Breaking the law.
Breaking the law.
Yeah, wearing sleeves to a Burke stream, breaking the law.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
But what's up? What's up? What did you think of this new Freeze arc? Absolute Freeze.
Just the interiors, the design of them, or the
I mean,
artwork.
Burke has a really high standard of art, so
I do.
I want to know your opinion on Dragota's art, the fill-in artists.
It was fine.
Ah, damn, no one likes that shit.
No, I had no problem
No.
with it. I'm not the guy to get too caught up on the art with stuff. You know what I mean? You don't hear me bitch about bad CG in movies. You don't hear me complain about mid artwork in comics. It's kind of shocking to me the lack of investment that DC has in the Absolute line, considering how well it's selling, and just makes you wonder how much better it would do if people were like, "Hey, did you see the interiors on that Absolute Wonder Woman? That was crazy, right?"
Right.
And it's like their strongest book, but like people are bailing on it because of the artwork is a hard sell, you know. Outside of Raphael Sandoval, like who they ain't got anything artwork to
No.
I love stuff, and then
like really compliment.
I was iffy on the Green Lantern artist, and then I read the books, and I was like, actually, this is really good. So
I don't like it.
they converted me. You
I
didn't
was
like
iffy on the Green Lantern
No,
artist.
I
I read the
loved it.
book, and I'm still iffy on the Green Lantern artist, but I love the story though.
Same. I think the book
I
is
like
amazing. The art sucks.
I like the vibe. I was skeptical, and then I got really sort of drawn in by the story in the first two
It looks
issues.
wickedly unfinished, but I mean the story does all the work though.
Mm.
The Green Lantern art legit looks unfinished. It looks like digital art that was quick colored, and they're like, send it.
It looks very anime-like, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, the design style is most definitely. But if you look at some of the panels and pages, it's like we don't need backgrounds in this panel. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it.
as a manga reader, I could appreciate the no backgrounds.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. As somebody with taste, I just let it go.
Barely, you literally were just like, you're not that invested. Like, oh well, this sucks.
No, but
Pick
dude,
a lane.
I legitimately loved the first two issues of
They're
the
so good.
Ivan Stewart. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And even me, I'm not an anime guy, and that even with issue 1 when we got that full page splash of Avansura, I'm like, yo, this is some Dragon Ball Z stuff right here.
Yeah,
And
yeah, literally.
this is intimidating, and like this clearly is not an Avansura that you look at and you're like, yo, you're an alien, but I want to help you. It's like, yo, you're an alien, and I'm afraid of you.
Yep.
Have you guys watched Akira?
I watched what?
Akira?
Oh, did you call it Akira?
Yeah.
I thought that was a car.
Accurate and Tegra.
Yeah,
but if you've like watched or read it, I think I got like, you know, those vibes from Hal and like his black hand and whatever is going on with him. So I think the art fits for me at least.
Oh yeah, dude, you won't hear me. A lot of times that happens for us, right? Like, look what Martin Simmons had happen with Department of Truth. Everyone was like, "Oh, I'm going to get on this Department of Truth book." Tynan's on it. He did something to kill children. This is going to be the next one to pop, and people read it, and 87% of the people that read issue 1 said art sucks, not for me, and the other 13% said, "Man, this is." I mean, it's not necessarily bad art, but it's hard to read. But by the time you get to issue 4, you're like, I can't imagine anybody else in the world writing this book. And not because this is Van Gogh, but because this elevates the story. And I think the same thing happened with Absolute Wonder Woman for me. And I'm already seeing it happening with Absolute Green Lantern, where this art style, though not the most traditional in the Western comic book sense, it definitely fits the storytelling that we're doing with this.
I need to do a video on that then, it sounds like, or we need to do a video on that. Everything
Just make sure you put the quote in the video.
Okay.
Yeah, look, my most viewed review is the Absolute Martian Manhunter one. Not even like Absolute Batman, Absolute, like it's crazy how many people are really into it, despite sort of like it changing a lot of things. So it's cool to be in the shop and people be like, or read the comments and be like, hey, this is the first book I picked up in a while and stuff. So I really like the energy behind it.
You have a video, a regular video, not a short, a regular video that is approaching 100,000 views.
Yeah.
That is insane, dude. Oh my gosh.
I think that's a testament to the amount of curiosity there was toward that title as well, because it's the lowest selling title out of the 6 Absolute books.
And it's only going to go 12, you know. And
it was originally going to be 6.
Yeah, I was listening to Scott Snyder on Comic Pop, and he was saying that like sort of that book and maybe one more will be sort of like a rotating, like they'll have like mini series that kind of rotate in and out, just so that the line doesn't get too big.
I can see that. Like they did a lot of Shazam. Like they'd give him 12 to 15 issues and be done, and they'd give it to someone else as well in the main canon universe. So
my whole idea about the Absolute Martian Manhunter was like the people that, you know, you have a lot of people that like, I pick up a few Marvel or DC, but I'm really digging the indie stuff. Like that's this book. Like this is for y'all. This is for you. It feels like a legitimate like A tier indie book.
Yeah.
Just with the name of a familiar superhero at the title to it. It's very creative as well what they're doing with it. I just don't know how much longevity it'll have for somebody like me, who's I'm in for the capes. Like I am here for the traditional superhero stuff.
True.
I think the quality is all there, but just for personal preference, it's sitting last on my pecking order list.
Yeah, I need to do a video on that.
The like one Marvel book, well, 2 that I'm reading kind of consistently is like his Ultimate Avengers, like the Ultimates, and then Ultimate Wolverine has been like really dope. Like I've really been liking that. Like that, you know, for your standard book, I would say that is like a really good art book. You have the guy that was doing like Moon Knight. I think it's Alessandro Cappuccio or something like that. Those these first 4 or 5 issues have been amazing. So
I read issue 1.
Yeah.
Probably not going to read it. I don't read.
I wouldn't recommend it to you. It's not bad or anything, but I'm sure you do the same. Like, yeah, it was fine. I just find myself not invested, kind of thing.
Yep. That's how I feel with a lot of Marvel books. Every time I read it, I'm like, it was okay, but
yeah, most Marvel books I read, I'm like, that was shit. Why'd I waste my money? But the Ultimate Wolverine I read, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I can see how a lot of people like this. I don't care because like with me, I'm like, I'm reading this as an investment. Also, like they're building out this whole Ultimate world. You know, they're going to cross over with stuff.
Right.
You're committing to a bigger task than just simply the Ultimate Wolverine book.
Yeah.
But I know do that between Ghost Machine, the OG cartoon stuff at Dynamite, Energon Universe, DC. I can't invest.
Can we say that? You know, speaking of skipping on the artists, some of those Dynamite books, man. I opened them and I immediately closed them. I'm like, I'm good.
I don't know which one you're referring to.
I think like Silverhawk for me.
Outside of Herculoids, that's the one that I was joking. Like there's like we don't need to draw faces for this panel. Screw it. Like, bro, that's not a background character. That's literally your foreground character riding a dragon on a page splash. Where's his face?
Yeah, like Silverhawks, I was like, oh, like I really like Ed Brisson. I'd like open 2 pages and I was like, I can't do this. The one I've really been digging, you know, Space Ghost is obviously like a huge hit. That's like really
fire,
good.
Dude.
So they didn't skimp there, but like some of the books, you're just like, hey, like I'm good. I'm okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't pull Silverhawks. I think a big thing with the Dynamite resurgence that's happening is they're playing toward people's nostalgia. Like that's the goal. Like we're dealing with properties that have been around since the 1960s, some of them the 1950s. And if you came up with these things in any light, you're going to enjoy being able to revisit them. And that gives you a little bit of goodwill with the customer to you don't have to redefine art. You're there. Your reader base is there. You know, you're just playing to an existing audience. And if you catch some new ones along the way, that's fantastic. But it's there is an audience out there for it. I'm one of them. Thanks to Pops, like all these old cartoons have a special place in my heart. I never cared for, never watched, never kept up with Silverhawks or anything. So that was an easy pass. But like the Johnny Quest, the Herculoids, the Space Ghost over at Mad Cave with the Phantom and Flash Gordon and Dick Tracy and all this. Like, dude, I'm not about to miss those books.
Yeah. No,
I'm like, dude, did y'all read the Phantom for the free comic book day one?
No, they ran out when I went. I honestly when I was a kid, that Billy Zane movie was my like the jam. I used to watch it all the time.
3 times as a kid.
But I think like, you know, to your point, what I think is really cool about it is that these are obviously like most of them are licensed from like Warner Brothers and they're not doing anything with those characters. So if you're like, you know, like for example, like I'd use my son as an example. Like he never has to pick up a Spider-Man comic. Spider-Man comics could be terrible, but he has the Spider-Man like and his Amazing Friends. There's a video game. There's actually really good Ultimate comic book, you know. So Amazing Spider-Man could be terrible until the sun burns out, but there's always going to be Spider-Man stuff to kind of
watch Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so dope, dude.
Yeah, the eye thing, I thought.
Yeah.
Sony gets
things right. When they dropped it and it had Nick Cage's one line of dialogue, I hope you find him. I'm like, yes, that was epic.
But yeah, like for example, like I think in June they're coming out with a Ben 10 comic. It's like, hey, you know how many Ben 10 kids are out there that are waiting for another animated series that are probably never going to get it because they take it off the streaming services and stuff like that. So it's just like it's the perfect like opportunity to kind of like do something where you could reinvent it, you invest a little bit of money. Yeah, you have to license it, but like, hey, the fans are there and they're hungry. They're not. There's nothing for them, so might as well give them a comic.
Did y'all talk about the Superman trailer beyond just saying did you like it?
I mean, we just talked about like little details and stuff, but if there's something you want to say.
No, I did a whole I went over the whole trailer at the beginning, but yeah, absolutely. Like you can say whatever you want about it. I loved it. I
just want to catch up. I hate to
go ahead.
What'd y'all think ultimately?
I thought it looked really cool. I loved the Green Lantern in it. I was worried about that when I saw the set photos. I really was. And then, yeah, that was amazing. That whole shot with all 3 of them up there in the sky was pretty sick. I thought the engineer looked really cool. I don't know, man. I loved the interaction between Clark Kent and Lois Lane. Just
That
overall, I thought it was cool.
yeah, that's like that was the first thing that got me. That was the beginning of the trailer, and I think that was like a home run moment. And it's the little things that mean the most to me. Like Superman is inherently cool. Period. Period. Coming from a guy that like has that argument with people all the time. He's not overpowered. He's not boring. He's not any of these things. And they showcase it, and they're like one of the biggest examples of how like complex this character is. It goes back to Superman 2, because like to Flo's point or to Stan's point, like you don't have to pick up these comics. Like there's other forms of media that influence the character's perception. And Superman 2 has one of the greatest moments when Christopher Reeve is at Niagara Falls with Lois, and she's determined to bust Clark Kent as Superman. And in the Donner cut, she pulls a gun on him, and Clark's sitting there. Lois, no, don't do it. And he's all clumsy and unsure of himself, and you don't realize how you even perceive this character, because we get to see him both ways. We get to see behind the veil from the beginning. And Lois pulls that trigger, and if you blink, you miss it. It happens so fast. She pulls that trigger, and he goes from being Clark to being Superman. Like the way that he's holding his face structure, the way that he's standing, like everything. It looks like a totally different person, and he didn't change anything about himself. And they did that. They gave us that with this trailer. The first 2 sentences that he says, I was already being hypercritical. I'm like, why is his voice so high? Did his voice, is he Bobby Brady? Did his voice just crack when they were talking about the interviews? Like, sure, that's fine. But then when they're sitting there and she goes, you ready? He goes, you got it, Cronkite. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Did you hear that tone shift? And then it shows him kind of sit up, and she goes, Superman. And he puts his elbows on his knees, and he goes, Miss Lane. And that full, deep baritone voice, and like his face is set. I'm like, dude, I'm so in. I'm so freaking in. Like hearing him and seeing him, like he just had a different presence about him. And there's a lot of still shots of this guy where it looks like there's 50 different actors playing this character, because his face is so different in so many shots. But you just have like a very clear shot of Clark Kent speaking to her in his true self. And I was like, dude, that was slick. What a way to start the trailer to give us that like that little twist there.
I watched the trailer earlier. I like the new scenes that were shown. Hopes are a little higher for the movie.
Yeah.
I showed it to my wife, and she goes, "Oh, he's handsome."
You got work to do, Steve.
I guess so, man. I guess so. Anything else you want to say about the trailer other than
the collective amnesia? I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving the double standards, the absolute ridiculousness of some of the stuff that I hear people say. I love that they're on board, and I love how baseless a lot of critiques have been about previous DC EU films. You bunch of hypocrites, whoever's seeing this on the rewind. I love that there's so many characters in it. I love that we're starting. Flo said it in this stream. I love that we're starting with so much going on. Like, dude, these are all the things that people hated about every single superhero movie.
Well, those things have to be handled in the right way. Those movies,
I'll absolutely agree to that. But that's just a throwaway critique about any and every movie going back to Spider-Man 3. Look at Black Adam. Oh, it would have been better, but they didn't explain who the Justice Society is. Well, yeah, they did. Oh, I wish they did. Like, dude, no, like y'all are just, people don't know what they want.
They're looking for something to say.
It's so fun to see people don't know what they want, but I loved how much pushback there was against the DCU. And if it took just the name James Gunn coming from Marvel to make people just blindly cheerlead for it and support it, if that's what it takes to get enough people there to actually experience these characters so that they get a real dose of what's awesome with them, as opposed to just criticizing from the peanut gallery and not actually watching them, great. If that's what it takes to get the people in the door, great. Whatever it takes. I've been saying it with the absolute line. You don't know how frustrating it is as a DC diehard to put a comment on something and people respond to my comment with, bro, Google these characters, they fill in the blank. I'm like, oh my God. happened today. Even I'm like this, frustrating, and that's
Don't
a little
feed the
bit of
troll. Don't feed
little
the troll.
ego in there. I'm a diehard comic guy and DC guy, and it even says comic in my name. They're like, no, man. There was a thing that said closer look at the Justice Society, and it showed clips of Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl. I'm like, Justice Society ? LOL. And people are like, yeah, man, it's a real team. Google them. I'm like,
Wow.
it's not the Justice Society, but I get the sentiment.
Wow.
But whatever it takes to get people in the door. I'm excited to have more people to talk about this stuff with. Same thing with the comics and the Absolute line. I'm glad it brought people in. These characters are superior in so many different aspects and a lot of other characters, because we're still dealing with the tentpole characters over here at DC. We're past the prime for those kind of characters at the MCU.
Hey, shout out to Dale's Auto, Dale of Suspense, member for 31 months. Oh my gosh. That's what's up, dude. I appreciate you so much for supporting me, supporting the channel. You're a great guy, man. You're a great dude. Everyone go follow Dale of Suspense on Instagram and YouTube.
Well, to the point, I too am glad that we're starting with a lot of stuff already going on. President Luther, Secretary of Defense Rick Flag.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild, right? That's crazy. President.
What do you think of really quickly? What do you think of the trailer for Peacemaker?
I thought it looked dope. I talked about this on the DC Days stream, but I think we might be burned out on the gun humor. Not like me personally, I am a little bit, but I think like the zeitgeist, the actual the temperature in the room, is like to call it, like just like with the MCU humor, like they did Guardians, right? Then they started doing everything was Guardians, and now that wasn't special anymore. We've seen this, we're used to this. There's no surprises here. It is right. What it is. Impress us.
Sometimes it's back to back to back. So like you have Creature Commandos in December, in July you have
every
Superman,
little piece of DCU
August
that we've got. Well, Peacemaker, or Suicide Squad, then Peacemaker, then the Creature Commandos, then Superman, then Peacemaker season 2. Every little bit of anything DCU at all that we've got is 100% gun style and tone, and that's where the MCU went wrong, doing everything the same. But so it's going to be weird. I'm wondering if we're going to get any pushback from that, and people are already out there saying it. This is brand new movie, Superman's James Gunn, coming soon. And there are people that's already getting memed and joked about with how much he's putting himself into this. He's doing stupid stuff like putting his initial on people's chests and saying, "Oh, I didn't know that happened," and then saying, check out the farm. I took inspiration from the Missouri farms that I'm familiar with from growing up. Like, bitch, imagine just going looking up some Kansas farms.
Yeah, for real. Come ask me, man.
It's little things like that. Like, it's like, dude, this guy is a little bit involved. And that's okay.
Oh, he's the CEO, so there's not anyone that could tell him no.
Yeah.
Sure. But hey, I just got some notes from myself. He said, yeah.
I think I'll allow it. Yeah. But it'll be interesting once we get rolling a little bit, because after this, and obviously Peacemaker, but that the next handful of projects aren't his creative vision. Supergirl
basically they're also and you'll like this, the first 5 projects in the DCU that have all like started filming, and all the ones that are actually like 100% going to happen, because if Superman flops, like these are the only things that are going to happen, are all either James Gunn or Tom King's vision,
as it should be with the TK vision. And I don't know about Tom King's vision. They're just pulling from his source,
his book. But Lanterns, it was from his pitch.
I'm excited for Lanterns. I am excited for that.
Dude, you'll never hear me, and you know this, man. Like Nightwing stan, I'm Tom King stan. Like,
I know.
Yeah, but you'll never hear me talk bad of that guy's. Like,
hey man, Sunday night is Tom King night.
But like, think about it. If you had to pick, like, there's certain writers that are just adaptable. Like, look at James Patterson, the way that he writes books. Like, I don't know if you all like read any James Patterson books, but he literally
I've watched like the adapted one, and obviously he has like a fan, like he's pumping out a book every couple of years.
Well, I'm saying James Patterson writes them in a sense like he's expecting this someone to come in, and he's like writing in that sense. There's a major aspect about like the way that Tom King writes, and like like the structure and formats of his stories, like he has like he'll sit down with a different literary device and tell a story using a different literary device. You know, he had that dual narrative thing for a while that he did with a handful of books, Strange Adventures, Mr.
Strange Adventures.
Miracle. Huh?
I actually like Strange Adventures.
Yeah, did you like Mr. Miracle?
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
I think.
Did you like Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow?
I didn't even finish it. No, I couldn't.
Did you like Human Target?
I hated Human Target.
Are you
great
serious?
art though? I did not like Human
That's
Target at all.
crazy. But there's
I did love the art though. The art was amazing.
Smallwood's art was great. But yeah,
I did like Gotham City Year One, but I'm a huge Phil Hester fan.
No, I thought you were gonna say Slam Bradley.
Yeah.
Who needs one?
Who else? I've liked quite a few. It's like one of those things where I
Did
think
you like Danger Street?
I didn't read Danger Street.
That's fair.
It feels like my relationship with like Tom King's work is like when I stop watching wrestling. When you feel like the kayfabe doesn't work on you anymore, you're not able to sort of like. So like I see a lot of the things he does, and some of it it's just like, hey.
Let me ask the important question, dude. There's no way that you're not reading Wonder Woman, right?
I'm not.
I mean,
I read the first issue, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need Wonder
Woman. You think that, dude? I legit dare you to read the first 6 issues.
I tried 2, so I'll give it. It's on Infinite, so yeah, I'll read it for you. But
we're up to like 20 something issues. But dude, like some of the moments in that, like when the reason I want you to is just to see like this guy has a different standard of storytelling that he does. Like whether like somebody necessarily likes their comic book story told this way, or whether they want this story structure. Like there's certain writers that are just good writers, but they're not necessarily a good fit for the medium of comic books. I would argue John Ridley's a great example of that. He's a phenomenal writer. He has the talent. Now, is he a good fit for these mediums? No, he doesn't understand superheroes, and he does the polar opposite, and he ends up just ruining them. And a lot of people have that critique with Tom King. They don't like the choices that the characters make.
That's what I'm worried about with Sophie Campbell and Supergirl.
I bailed on that book before it even happened. That book's.
I'm going to read it because I told Paul I wanted to read
a little preview.
Like it's previewed in the back pages of all the stuff this week, and there's nothing inherently wrong with it. But as soon as like I open it, I'm like, they should have like solicited this as like a book for 8-year-olds so that like they know that there's stuff for them also.
Gotcha.
Backup of Action Comics. That's probably what it should have been.
I do have to get going here because I got to get ready for school tomorrow. This is my last big week of work. I got 2 more weeks left, guys.
Remember, in Tom King we trust.
Well, before that, what I was going to say about Tom King, I had something in my mind. I will say he's really good at writing for his artists. He does, even the books that I don't like, he creates these moments, like in terms of the rhythm of the story, to really sort of like, for example, Human Target. If Greg Smallwood did that with like pencil and ink, he'd be a rich man from those pages. just because of some of like the moments that are created and all that. I could not stand that story, but the art, like no question, and
that's
also
wild. Like that's like praised across the board. I mean, there's always exception, but there's some of his books that are just praised even by his detractors. Supergirl being probably the number 1 book on that list.
Yeah, I couldn't finish Supergirl, but like I said, I think I told you the jump the shark moment was Rorschach. That was the one where I was like, I can't do this.
That's fair. That was so long ago too, man. That was like 2018.
Yeah, well, he left an impression.
7 years ago, Flo. Let it go, man.
Yeah, people don't forget.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Well, I appreciate you guys for joining me tonight and hanging out, talking Superman and comics and just chilling, man. This was fun. I need to do this more often.
Good catching up. It's been a while.
Absolutely. I'm going to say all the stuff one more time and then we'll get out of here. If you guys want to be entered to join the giveaway, just click the join button below. You can be entered to win all of these amazing comic books from the 616comics.com. Click the join button for just $1.99. Support me, support the channel, and be entered to win all these awesome comics again from the 616. All these amazing people are entered to win this month's giveaway. You can join them by clicking the join button below. By the end of May, we're going to give it away on June 1st. Mark, Chris,
Cool.
thanks for joining us. And as always, go Cats.
Cowabunga. It's morphin' time.